That brings us to for me, was the highlight of the weekend in terms of fights. I know Usyk's performance was awesome, but in terms of a even back and forth battle at times, not even in the scores, but at time, I mean, there were two instances where Brian Ortega had Volkanovski in submissions where I was like, oh, it's over. He's got that locked in tight. He had him in basically a mounted guillotine.
And that's after Volkanovski was winning the fight, clearly. So you're right.
Volkanovski was putting it on him on the feet, busting him up. Ortega had moments, but Ortega jumped on him with a mounted guillotine at one point. Then he had him in a triangle, deep, super deep. When he had him in the mounted guillotine, Volkanovski was doing that kind of kicking and wiggling like you see right before someone's panicking where they're about to tap or get choked out because they're doing everything in their power to get out of that. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Ortega's going to catch him. And Volkanovski gets out of it. I still can't believe it. He knew what he was doing.
He wasn't panicking. What he was doing was getting out of it. He was doing what he had to do.
But it had 100%. But it had that look of like, he's the way. And even it was like, after the fight,
I mean, he had the look of Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. When he was on the stretcher, and he made believe he went into the convulsions. Remember? And he made the stretcher shake up and down. I mean, he was like he was convulsing.
It was crazy. And Ortega said in his post-fight interview, I can't believe he got out of there. He's a tough little bastard. I had him in there tight. It was exactly what I had been working on. Nevertheless, Volkanovski, again, we can't use tough as just doesn't do it justice to describe how incredibly tough and determined both guys were. I mean, I can't believe that when the ref was looking to give Ortega a way out of there, the doctor asking him, can you see? I thought, he's going to say he can't see, or he's going to tell him he can't see his fingers up. Nope. He didn't take the easy out. He went back into the cauldron.
These guys don't take the easy out.
I really thought they gave him every chance.
Forget about easy out. They don't take any out. There is no out. There is no out. Only in. Only in.
So congratulations not only to Alex Volkanovski, but to Eugene Behrman, and all the guys at City
Kickboxing. Great job by Eugene. Great job.
Let's get into the fight, Teddy. What'd you see and what'd you like? And my God, there were so many takeaways from this one.
Yeah, Eugene has Alessandro. All those guys, they're always prepared, always have the right guy. You're 100% right, Ken. 100%.
Yeah.
Volkanovski is a short guy, obviously, so strong physically. His attributes, forget about the mental side right now, but his attributes from a physical side, he's technically very solid, physically very strong, always balanced and always in good position in his legs. Very good at judging range, very good at dealing with range in and out, very good and quick at closing gaps. Being a shorter guy, he has to be good at that. He's got to close a gap on bigger guys, longer guys. He's always balanced, kind of like the great champion from Japan, Inoue, where Inoue's always set, always balanced on his feet to get power. So that's his attributes that I see from Volkanovski. I thought before we get to the crazy part and the fun part and the maniac part of that, because that was one of the greatest fights you're ever going to see. Yeah, I don't care. Boxing, anything. That's the thrill in Manila. I mean, that's I'm telling you. That's Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, the first one. And Corrales and Castillo, the first one. That's how good it is. That's how good that is. It's unbelievable. Because those guys went to other places. Yep. They have a code. It's not about money. It's about pride. It's about the code. It's about you can't kill somebody twice. This is what I mean to everybody out there. For them, death is to surrender. It's to not have dignity. That's death. To not have honor. That's death. So what? Once you die that way, you're as good as physically dead. So what does it matter what punishment I allow my body or I put my body through? I'm dead already. If I surrender, if I give in, if I submit, I'm dead. Because my soul is dead. To them, whatever you have to do, not to break that code. Not to give in. Because no matter how hard it is right there. They realize they're more scared and recognize it's harder. And they're fearful. They have fear. They're fearful of living with how they would feel and know tomorrow and all the day after tomorrows if they break that code. They're more fearful of that than of what they face and feel and deal with today.
Yes.
So they could go face whatever they got to face. Because in their mind, that's not the difficult part. That's not what represents damage. That's not represents not living anymore. Is what your body does. It's your spirit. That's what matters. That's what's got to be protected. That's what's got to be fought for. And they fight for it. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I had to take the time to say it that way because they deserve it to be said that way. Both of them. They deserve it. I sent a tweet out because really, you're going to laugh, but I sent a tweet out. I said that if Volkanovski showed up somewhere, right, and in the, say, the pearly gates, wherever, and God came over to him and said, Mr. Volkanovski, you're dead. You know what he would say? No, seriously. He would say, who says? Really, he would look at God in the eyes and said, who says so? Who says so? I'm not dead till I say I'm dead. With all due respect, God. With all due respect, God. I'm not dead until I say I'm dead. I mean, that's what came to me after that fight, and I sent that tweet out along those lines. Because that's what he represented. That's what he showed. They pulled the curtain back for all regular people to learn, to see what a warrior is, what a champion is, what separates a champion from an ordinary guy. They showed everybody who's watching that what that is, what the definition is when they say, when people talk about the will to win. That's it. That's it right there. When people talk about, will over skill, that's it. That's it. Finding a way, not being denied, refuse to lose. All those terms, all those fancy terms we love to chuck all over the place. Really. But we don't really have to prove it. They proved it.
Yep.
That's what I took from this. I mean, as far as breaking it down in my world, the way I could break down fighting and boxing and striking, the striking part of it, is exactly what you said. I mean, you had Volkanovski in control, and he was winning the fight, winning the rounds, dominating in some spots, and then all of a sudden, he made a mistake. He made a mistake with a great fighter, with Ortega. And he makes a mistake where, I forget if he was throwing a kick or catching a kick, but there was a little space and he left himself a little vulnerable, a little exposed, and he gets caught a straight punch and gets dropped. And that's it. That's the opening. Ortega, bang, right on it. And he gets into his world. He gets down on the floor, on the mat. And like you said, he gets him into one of these submission holds. And it's supposed to be lights out, except nobody told Volkanovski, lights don't go out in my house. Lights don't get turned on in my house. Ask my family. Ask my friends who come over. Lights are always on. They might flicker a little bit, but they're never shut off. I don't shut lights off. And he did what you said. He went into this convulsion type move, but he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was, and he knew what he wasn't doing. He wasn't submitting.
Yeah.
And then that's not enough. That would have been enough to make it a great, great fight. That wasn't enough. Then he goes into attacking into the ground and pound. He's on top of Ortega, hitting him with elbows, forearms, punches, fists. I mean, thank God nobody hands anyone like a hammer in that play. I mean, because by accident he would hit him with that. He's hitting him with everything. And Ortega, no lights out in his house either. No lights out in his house either. And he just barely survives. And then they go at it. They go at it again. Another round. And then the same thing. Volkanovski's, controlling things, standing up, and then all of a sudden, what happens? He's on top of him. He's grounding and pounding, looking like it's going to end it again. Grounding and pounding, but Ortega he refuses to submit. No surrender. And he's hitting with all these shots. Unbelievable. And all of a sudden, like a python out of a tree. Oh my God, like a boa constrictor. The legs go around his neck, and it's over. It's over. No, it's not.
Yep.
No, you forgot who these guys are. It's not over. And now it's over. It's got to be over. It's got to be over. It has to be over. It has to be over. No. There is no over. Not with these guys. There is no over. And he gets out of that. And then he goes back to the ground and pound. And the guy's Ortega taking all that punishment. And he's losing the fight, but he came this close to winning it. And then you figure it's over. It's not over. Then the fifth round goes on after all of that. And what does Ortega do? He wins the round. How's it possible? He does. It's not physically possible, but it's possible if you believe. If you prepare yourself mentally. Physically, of course, they're in great shape. But mentally, if you're willing to go to the darkest caverns of yourself. These guys are there to discover new places every time they get in that octagon inside that cage. They're looking to discover new places. How much further can I go? And so they're all looking to discover greatness. How great can I be? How great can I be? So here's Ortega after all of that physical turmoil and punishment and abuse. He wins the fifth round. And the way he won it, the way I would have said it if I was in a corner, the way I said it before that in a tweet. It's out there. You guys could see it, where I sent it to Rob, where his one physical advantage, he was taller and longer. He needed to use the length of his punches. He wasn't using it consistent enough, Ortega, where he needed to stretch out that jab, needed to extend that jab, where he could catch Volkanovski stepping back or standing in front. He needed to use that length and get full extension on his punches more consistently. And it was there for him. And I mentioned it in a tweet. It's there for him. And in the fifth round, that's what he did. He extended his hands. He got the length. He got the reach that he needed to get full extension on his punches. And he was able to catch and affect and impact Volkanovski standing in front and stepping back. It was too little too late in the end. Or, you know what? It was one of those nights, nothing would have been enough to beat either one of these guys. Nothing. You would have had to bring one of those SWAT mobiles in there. You know what I mean? Like one of those SWAT tanks with like a full SWAT team. and go after them. Maybe if you did that, you might have got those guys out of there. Other than that, short of that, no. These guys, they taught us, if we're willing to learn, that there are no dark places if you're willing to go and put a light on and venture into them and dare to venture into them. There is no darkness. You can find light. And they found it. They found it as dark as it freaking was 1 second. They freaking came out on the light. They really did. They're special. They are special.